Welcome back. It is just after 9:30. Hope you're enjoying your morning so far. Well, we were warned the unemployment rate was going to take a hit thanks to COVID-19, and the numbers are staggering. More than 1 million jobs were lost in Canada just in the month of March. According to the latest numbers from Stats Canada, that's pushed the jobless rate to 7.8%. Up from 2.2% in February. StatsCan says that means less than 60% of Canadians are currently employed, the lowest since April 1997. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau addressed those job losses in his daily address to Canadians this morning.
On Monday, we launched the Canada Emergency Response Benefit. More than 4.5 million claims have been processed, which means people are already receiving their $2,000 for this month. We're also working on legislation to bring in a wage subsidy to help employers keep people on the payroll while working on new loans for business owners. We will keep expanding our 3-point economic plan to protect jobs, support business owners, and get everyone the help they need.
Ottawa has released its first national projections on how badly COVID-19 could hit this country. Even with strong control measures put in place, the Federal Public Health Agency projects up to 22,000 Canadians could die in the coming months. But Dr. Theresa Tam says the modeling isn't necessarily what will happen. She says the outcome depends on how we behave to keep the illness from spreading.
Our forecast predicts that we will see from about 22,580 to about 31,850 cases by April the 16th. Based on the case fatality rate to date, this could mean we reach between 500 and 700 total deaths in Canada by next week.
And Trudeau says this virus hit Canada later than other countries. He's reminding Canadians we are still in the early stages.
Our healthcare systems across the country are coping for the time being, but we're at a fork in the road between the best and the worst possible outcomes. The best possible outcome is no easy path for any of us. The initial peak, the top of the curve, may be in late spring with the end of the first wave in the summer. As Dr. Tam explained, there will likely be smaller outbreaks for a number of months after that. This will be the new normal until a vaccine is developed.
It is 9:33 now. If you don't have to travel this long weekend, don't. That message is coming from the province after the latest briefing in Victoria. BC has recorded 45 more cases of COVID-19, bringing our total to more than 1,300. 5 more people have died, including 3 seniors from long-term care homes in North Vancouver. The total number of deaths in this province is now 48. BC's provincial health officer says, let's bend the curve, not the rules, this long weekend.
You know, we've said this before and we'll say it again. We need to stay home this weekend. We need to be close to our families, to the people that we share our homes with, and we need to reach out to others virtually and stay connected. But this is not the time to take unnecessary travel. It's not the time to go to some of our smaller or more remote communities where the services may not be available to support you or to support the community should this virus be introduced into those communities.
135 people remain in hospital with COVID-19, including 61 in intensive care. The good news is both numbers are down from Tuesday. More strict measures are being put in place for travelers returning home to BC. Anyone who has been out of the country needs to provide a plan to self-isolate for 14 days. As Travis Prasad has found, your plan still has to be approved.
Up until now, British Columbians returning to the province from international destinations have been asked to self-isolate. But as the COVID-19 pandemic continues, the province is enacting strict new quarantine measures for snowbirds and anyone else returning to BC.
When people arrive at the Vancouver International Airport, they will be required to have a self-isolation plan.
Premier John Horgan making the announcement Wednesday afternoon. Effective immediately, returning international travelers must fill out a self-isolation plan proving they have the supports to successfully self-isolate for 14 days.
coming back to Canada and then stopping at the golf course to hit a bucket of balls and maybe going to pick up some groceries and stopping at a buddy's place is not self-isolation. So some of these things seem self-evident to those of us who have been doing this for the past number of weeks, but it's not necessarily self-evident to those who are arriving back.
Travelers without a self-isolation plan will be transported to provincially operated quarantine sites where they will stay for 2 weeks or until a plan is prepared. The province is still working out where these sites will be located. Upon arrival in BC, self-isolation plans must be approved by a provincial official. Refusing to provide one is illegal under the Federal Quarantine Act. Premier John Horgan making it clear the federal government is on board with this unprecedented measure.
They are on the same page as we are. Well, I shouldn't say that. We're in the same book. They're a page or two behind us, but I'm not bothered by that, nor are they. It's just easier for us to implement because we're on the ground. We're British Columbians.
YVR supports the plan and as of this Friday will be the only BC airport handling international arrivals. Provincial officials will be on site there and at major border crossings, including Peace Arch, reviewing travelers' isolation plans. As for enforcing those plans, the province urging citizens to hold each other accountable.
And if that's unsuccessful, I think you should contact authorities, whether it be the Public Health Office, where these directives originated, or local law enforcement.
Horgan says the new measures will help ensure BC doesn't lose the progress it's made flattening the COVID-19 curve. For more information, those returning to BC are urged to visit gov.bc.ca/returning travelers. In Vancouver, Travis Prasad, City News.
And BC is joining other provinces and countries in expanding its list of essential workers to include the Easter Bunny.
So there is no fear. I've got a couple of letters from youngsters concerned that Easter could be disrupted by COVID-19. I have also a list of suggestions for the Easter Bunny about washing paws, about ensuring that there is some safe physical distancing when eggs are being distributed around British Columbia. But Easter Bunny will be here on the weekend, kids. You can rest easy with that.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love that.
I'm looking forward to a weekend that might include a little more chocolate than normal, and I don't mean more chocolate on the front of my sweater because that's usually what happens, right? But
oh, yeah.
You get the idea, Mary.
He gets all over the face.
That's okay. That's we'll clean up in time. It's funny, Mary. It's been clear for many of the mornings this week, and it's been on the chilly side. We look at our satellite analysis for this morning, and that ridge of